Prime News.
Hello, it's midday. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Inosafo, and this afternoon I'm here with
Charles Osukumi.
Coming up, minority in Parliament approved Justice Gertrude Tokonu as the Chief Justice of Ghana.
We, the members of the Appointments Committee representing the National Democratic Congress, NDC, will not withhold our approval of the Chief Justice nominee by consensus. We will not withhold our approval of her by consensus.
Meanwhile, the minority is urging the World Bank country director to refrain from politics. Still ahead in the bulletin, some first-year students of the Yendi Health Assistance Training School in the Northern Region suspended over exam malpractice.
So everybody had it, but I don't know how come they fished out a few of us and served us that punishment.
Also coming up, Right to Information Commission fines the Ghana Police Service 100,000 Ghana cedis for ignoring an applicant's request for information. And later, the City Business Festival kicks off with the first forum on reimagining the digital economy. The news is live on our partner stations across the country, including Tupani Radio 88.5 in Nadoli in the Upper West region. Also in the Upper West, Jirapa 96.1 FM. In the Upper East region, we're on Recast 92.1 FM in Bongo Namo. In the Northern region, we're on North Star Radio 92.1 FM in Tamale. In the Northeast region, you're listening to us on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalerugu. In the Western region, you're listening to us on Beach 105.5 FM in Takoradi. In the Ashanti region, we're live on Focus 94.3 FM on the KNUST campus and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Sela Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala, Holy 98.5 FM in Aplao, and in the Savannah region, we're on Kasha 99.5 FM in Damongo. The news is also live across the globe on citynewsroom.com, City 97.3 FM on Facebook, and CityTube on YouTube.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for joining us. Now, let's start from Parliament, where the minority in Parliament says it will approve Justice Gertrude Tokonu as the Chief Justice of Ghana. The group suspended a consensus approval of the Chief Justice nominee after her vetting by the Appointments Committee of Parliament, pending the full judgment of the Supreme Court on the dual citizenship case involving the then Member of Parliament for Asin North, James Jachikwason. Addressing the media, the Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Yariga, says although the minority caucus disagrees with the ruling of the Apex Court, it will not withhold its approval of the Chief Justice nominee.
What they did was to enact laws, the Supreme Court, not to interpret the text of the Constitution of Ghana. James Jachikwason is gearing up to contest the by-election in Asin North, which has been brought about by the Supreme Court's decision. In that regard, we, the members of the Appointments Committee representing the National Democratic Congress, NDC, will not withhold our approval of the Chief Justice nominee by consensus. We will not withhold our approval of her by consensus. Her CV reveals a person of considerable experience, having served as a judge from the High Court to the Court of Appeal and ultimately at the Supreme Court. Women who have acquitted themselves should be given opportunities to occupy key national offices. Even as we disagree with her jurisprudence, we find her qualified to occupy the high office of Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. The image of the judiciary is not in a good shape. Several opinion polls show that, so we are not saying it. We hope that Justice Gertrude Araba as a Lady Chief Justice will restore the dignity of the judiciary.
You heard Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Ayariga. The minority also debunked some assertions made by the World Bank Country Director to Ghana, Pierre-Frank Laporte, regarding the energy sector. The group urged him to stay away from politics and act as a technocrat. The ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapo, addressed the media.
President Akufo-Addo and his head of the economic management team, Dr. Baumia, must accept responsibility, demonstrate leadership, and find reasonable solutions to the current economic hardship confronting the ordinary Ghanaian on a daily basis. President Mahama's record in the energy sector is unmatched. President Mahama, before leaving office, ensured that we had a comprehensive foothold, i.e., on the generation, on fuel, and on the financial sector. We finally wish to advise the World Bank Country Director, Mr. Laporte, to continue to work as a technocrat and not meddle himself in the field of politics. Mr. Laporte, you are not a politician, and when you are making such unsubstantiated comments, you must bear in mind that it has far-reaching ramifications on this country. The minority will continue to hold its chest high, will continue to defend the track record of President Mahama and the NDC administration, because our record is unmatched, is unparalleled, and that is nothing but the truth.
That was the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapo. Ni Ayikwe Okan is our parliamentary correspondent, and he joins us over the phone lines. Ayikwe, thanks for joining us. Parliament has resumed 3 months after taking a break. Paint a picture of the House today for us. Is it full?
Well, so, this morning, even before the House would commence sittings officially, the minority in Parliament addressed the media on some issues that have been trending for some time now in the country. And this has to do with the issue regarding the vetting and then the appointment of Chief Justice, nominee Justice Gertrude Tokonu, as well as the World Bank Country Director's comments on the energy sector, Frank Laporte. So first had to do with the Chief Justice nominee. If you will recall, during her vetting, the minority stated that they were refraining from any consensus approval. And so the Supreme Court had made its ruling or its full judgment on the dual citizenship case regarding the then Assam North MP James Jachikwe's loan. And if you would also recall, just the last few days, the Supreme Court came out with the full ruling regarding the dual citizenship case. Based on this, the minority addressed the media and made it clear that in as much as they disagree with the full judgment brought forth by the Supreme Court, they have no option than to go ahead to approve the nomination of Justice Gertrude Tokonu as the Chief Justice of Ghana. And they actually indicate that they, in their statement, indicated that James Jachikwe, at the time of being sworn in to become a member of Parliament, he had successfully renounced all his allegiance to any other country, and his allegiance was only to Ghana. So this is according to the minority. However, they claim that the Supreme Court rather veered off and was dealing with issues having to do with eligibility and qualification of the person to contest as a member of Parliament. This, they believe, goes contrary to what the Constitution has stated. In as much as they disagree with this particular ruling, they feel that Chief Justice nominee Justice Gertrude Tokonu would be able to discharge her duties effectively as the Chief Justice. So that was it for the Chief Justice nominee. And we also have the minority addressing the media on issues having to do with the energy sector. If you would recall, the World Bank Country Director to Ghana, Pierre-Frank Laporte, made some assertions which had to do with power purchase agreements which were signed under the Mahama administration. The World Bank Country Director indicated that these agreements have actually contributed to the huge debt crippling the energy sector, and this in turn has affected or has contributed to the economic challenges that we face as a country. And yesterday we had the former Minister of Power, Dr. Kwabena Donkwa, under whose jurisdiction some of these PPAs were signed, addressing the media to also, debunk these assertions. He had indicated that the main contributing factor is the poor management of the exchange rate. So we had the minority led by the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, John Jinako, also buttressing this point made by the former Minister of Power. And he said that, the Mahama administration at the time did everything very much possible to ensure or sustain the energy sector, and which the Akufo-Addo government is also benefiting from. They actually say that the Energy Sector Levy Act has actually accrued almost 24 billion Ghana cedis for the Akufo-Addo government, and they debunked assertions also that they have contributed to the economic challenges that we face as a country. That was the press conference, details of the press conference held by the minority earlier this morning. As it stands now, we are expecting the majority chief whip, Sankano Dompré, to also address the media on some issues that the House will be considering now that it's resumed from recess. But key on the agenda for today would be the swearing in of the Member of Parliament elect for Kumewu,
yes, on that, Ayikwe, have you seen the new MP who's yet to be sworn in, Ernest Yawenim? Have you spotted him today?
As it stands now, I haven't sighted him in the House yet, but per the other paper of the House, we are expecting to have him sworn into office right after prayers have been conducted by the Speaker of Parliament. So his swearing in will take place today. And it is also expected that the Appointments Committee of Parliament would also present its report on the vetting of Chief Justice nominee. I will get to talk on it today before the House, so that it will be considered and subsequently approved for her to take over her duties.
All right, Ayikwe, tell us about the attendance. Is the chamber full?
For now, it isn't that full, but we've had a number of them coming in gradually. Once they just resumed, we are presuming that there are caucus meetings ongoing just to tackle one or two issues before they converge at the plenary for sittings to commence. But as it stands, it's not full to capacity, but we have a number of the MPs seated in the chamber.
Any other business tabled on the order paper for discussion?
Come again, Eno.
I was asking about any other items on the order paper for discussion, aside what you've already told us.
So we are also expecting that some bills would be considered now that the House has resumed. And the key issue having to do with the SIM registration exercise, if you recall, just some few days ago, persons or SIM holders who have not registered their SIM cards had them blocked by telcos. So it is expected that the Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Esla Uswakofo, would be before Parliament on Thursday, June 8, 2023, to also apprise members on the SIM registration exercise, which officially ended on 31st May 2023.
Ayikwe, thank you very much for that update. You heard me speak to parliamentary correspondent Ni Ayikwe Okain. Charles?
Yes, let's stay in Parliament. Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee, Dr. Clement Apak, has described the proposal to increase the school feeding grant from 97 pesos to 120 pesos as woefully inadequate. The Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Laraba Zuwera Abudu, proposed a new grant of 120 pesos per child, but the school feeding caterers who have withdrawn their services since the reopening of schools have rejected the offer. Speaking to City News on the matter, Dr. Clement Apak said the government had to increase the grant to 3 cedis 50 pesos per child in accordance with its commitment to social interventions under the current International Monetary Fund program.
I believe that the proposed increment is woefully inadequate. It wouldn't be fit for purpose. It wouldn't make a difference. And I shudder to imagine the type of food that the woman can prepare with 1 cedi 20 pesos. So I disagree with the current proposition. I think that government ought to be able to raise it to the 3 cities, 50 pesos, as originally asked for by the women. After all, government has assured the Ghanaian public that social intervention programs, including the school feeding program, would be protected. The Minister for Finance at the joint press conference with representative of the IMF in America made it clear in responses to various questions that social intervention programs would be protected and enhanced. And that is why I believe that with a budgetary allocation of 959 million as approved by Parliament, and with the first tranche of the bailout having come in, social intervention programs like the school feeding program must be prioritized, and that should include the request of 3 cities, 50 pesos.
The Bulsa South Member of Parliament has also served notice to file an urgent question in Parliament to demand answers to issues confronting the school feeding program.
The school feeding program is not housed under the Ministry of Education. It is housed under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. But I've even argued that given that the program is supposed to increase enrollment and ensure retention in the basic school system, we should look at resituating or relocating the school feeding program under the Ministry of Education, which would then give the Education Committee full oversight. But be as it may, the Education Committee continues to maintain an interest. So what tends to happen is that we go at it and raise the issues around the school feeding program by filing questions not to the Minister for Education, but to the Minister of Children, Gender and Social Protection. And I believe that as Parliament has resumed today, a number of questions would be filed to the Minister, and I intend to file an urgent question to the Minister on this matter, because I truly don't believe that 1 cedi 20 pesos is sufficient to prepare a nutritious hot meal per day to feed our wards in this time of hyperinflation and high food inflation in particular.
Dr. Clement Apak is the Member of Parliament for Bulsa South and the Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee of Parliament.
Let's go to the northern region where around 20 first-year students from the Yendi Health Assistance Training School in the northern region have recently been suspended from their studies due to their involvement in exam malpractice. The lengths of these suspensions range from 1 month to a year. Additionally, 2 teachers who were discovered to be behind this malpractice have been expelled from the college. A few of the affected students have appealed to the college authorities and pleaded for a reduction in the length of their suspensions. One of the affected students spoke on condition of anonymity.
The punishment, truth of the matter is, if they are really going to go deep and deep, the whole class had the questions. Each and everybody had the questions because it was a leakage. And even the course rep of the class posted the questions on the class group, official group. So everybody had it, but I don't know how come they fished out a few of us and served as that punishment. If you ask me personally, I would appreciate it if I have been given like a month suspension external to go home, and in my second year to another 4 weeks internal. So I would want my weeks to be reduced. Per my calculations, we won't be available when the mid semester starts, and I might miss 2 papers.
You heard one of the suspended first-year students of the Yendi Health Assistance Training School in the northern region. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live on 97.3 Citi FM. The news is also live across the globe on citynewsroom.com, Citi 97.3 FM on Facebook, and CityTube on YouTube. This afternoon's stories we've brought you so far: Minority in Parliament approved Justice Gertrude Tokonu as the Chief Justice of Ghana. Also, the minority is urging the World Bank country director to refrain from politics. Still ahead in this bulletin, the Right to Information Commission finds Ghana Police Service 100,000 Ghana cedis for ignoring an applicant's request for information. We'll bring you the details shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. The Ghana Police Service has been fined 100,000 Ghana cedis for its refusal to comply with the Right to Information Commission's directives, which required their granting an applicant access to requested information. The Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative Africa had sought information on the status of cases involving police brutality. Despite addressing the request to the Inspector General of Police, the police service completely ignored it. The RTI Commission, in a statement, highlighted the respondents' failure to make decisions on the applicant's request, along with their disregard for the Commission's letter.
Now, the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation has taken a significant step towards fighting plastic pollution in the country with the introduction of a new plastic management policy. The policy will ensure that 82% of Ghana's plastics is recovered and recycled for future use. The announcement of the imminent rollout of the policy was made at an event held at Mampong Presbyterian Senior High School in the Kwapim North Municipality to commemorate this year's World Environment Day celebration organized by the Mountain Research Institute. In an interview with Citi News, the Director of Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Lydia Esua, called for more efforts to create a greener, cleaner environment. She added that the policy was expected to reduce the country's carbon footprint while creating new opportunities for economic growth.
The evidence was so clear, so it was necessary that at the national level something is done, one, to protect the environment, so that as much as possible we can reduce the flooding that comes about as a result of the plastics choking the gutters and preventing water flow. We also got information from the data available that the negative effect, some people burn the plastics, they collect and then they burn it. When you burn, there are fumes. The smoke that comes out contains certain gases that are dangerous to our health. So the second objective that we needed to address was the issue of public health. How do we reduce pollution that is coming out of the improper way of managing plastics? And that is also one of the things that led to the ministry developing the plastics policy.
Lydia Esua is the Director for Policy Planning, Monitoring, Evaluation at the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation.
Now, road users in the national capital have expressed concern over the dark state of major roads caused by faulty or non-functioning street lights. The situation has created an opportunity for criminal acts like robberies to thrive. Citi News' Daniel Ujuru-Mensah reports. Just 4 months ago, Citi News investigated the issue of faulty streetlights in various parts of Accra. Several stretches, including the Medina Denton Road, Kolebu Mortuary Road, parts of Independence Square and 28th February Road, suffered from total darkness. Despite rechecking over the weekend, the situation remains unchanged. Notably, in front of the Supreme Court building, opposite the Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Presidential Library, Vehicles were seen speeding in the dark, relying solely on their headlights. Bernard Aqua, a pedestrian who frequents the area, shared a near-death experience.
These are routes I go home with, so I pass here most often. Yes.
So how often? Can you tell us how often?
Almost every day. Every day. So.
Have you noticed that some of the street lights are not working?
Oh yeah, I've noticed. One time the street light that was working. One day I was working, I saw it was just blinking on and off, on and off. So when I came and I saw it work, I was even surprised. But this side, most of the times, is off. And you see, there are a lot of mad people around. It makes the place dangerous. Last time I was chased by armed robbers. Yes.
On this same stretch?
Yes.
So, can you tell us about it? What time were you walking here and then you had that experience?
I think around 8:30 p.m. So as I was walking, and because it's dark, people try to do evil things in the dark. So as I was walking, and I turned my back, I noticed two guys following me. But I just decided that maybe they are just normal people following me. But as I was going, I realized that they were still following me. So I decided to just cross the road, and I saw that they were chasing me. It was dangerous. I was nearly knocked down by a car.
During a drive from the Supreme Court to Independence Square and Osu Castle, some streetlights were fixed, while others remained dysfunctional. The team then proceeded to the historic 28th February Road, where streetlights were installed along the edges, but not in the median. The lights were mounted on electric poles installed on the road's edges. Parts of the La General Hospital Road leading to the Teshi District's police headquarters were also engulfed in darkness due to the ongoing Labish Road expansion project. Further along the route, there was total darkness from the La Veterinary Services Department to the Dankwa Circle roundabout. Parts of the Dankwa Circle roundabout leading to the Ghana National Fire Service headquarters also lacked illumination. Darkness prevailed from the North Kanishi roundabout to the frontage of Awudome Cemetery. Moreover, some parts of the old Abusokai Central Mosque leading to the Kolebu Mortuary Road were completely dark. The Flamingo Junction to parts of Kanishi First Light also lacked proper lighting. Concerned road users shared their thoughts with City News.
Oh, if the street light is not working, when people are trying to cross the road, sometimes they can make an attempt and then you see ping and all those stars. The last time like this, I think there was a robbery going on around here, and it's all because there's no light. They snatch someone's phone along the roadside. It's causing a lot, but then we don't know what to do. From here to I think First Light, this is Flamingo. The road, there's no street light working since for years back. So if you are walking on this stretch, you should be very careful.
How often do you use this stretch?
And almost every day. But this street lights, I think it's off for over 3.5 years now. You report it to the authority, they will tell you they will come. Anytime you go, you contact them, they will come. But still now, when in the night, you see a little robbing here. People mobile phone will be taken. They put knife on them. Sometimes laptop, the student laptop and their back, the motors pick, they will pick a big, I can say, machete on them, and which it has gone on for years. Now, I don't know what currently the authorities is they doing. You'll be arriving sometimes, even traffic light is off. You call them, they will come. But still, some of them are broken, as you speak now.
The City News team continued to Hansonic Junction in Dansoman, where they observed non-functional streetlights installed in the median of the road. There was no illumination on the streets from Darkuman Junction through Odoko, Sakaman to Malam Junction. Dark areas included Barnyard, Hong Kong, Abrantia Spot, Achimota Police Station, Achimota Old Station through to Alaji Junction were also dark. A taxi driver, Charles Kayose, lashed out at the government for their failure to act.
And Penfo Kruma be a midnight say, no, because a forest. In the area spanning from Dacoman to Malam Junction, the absence of street light is alarming. It raises questions about the effectiveness of our leaders. The pervasive darkness in the city truly baffles me. Furthermore, our critical issues like flooding have also been neglected.
Meanwhile, Samuel Ni Ajay-Teria, the chief executive of the Korle-Klottey Municipal Assembly, acknowledged that although the responsibility for installing streetlights does not solely fall on the assembly, they are making efforts to find solutions.
As to the streetlights, we have portions of the municipality or some specific streets up to about maybe 20 or so that are handled through the Ministry of Energy. The first set of roads to mention that comes under this is the ceremonial roads, which you may not find in most other assemblies. Then we have some busy road, dual carriage roads, etc., that also are managed through the Ministry of Energy. So, in some cases, although we are still not directly responsible, as the city authorities, we either notify Ministry of Energy, and also we have taken steps in some cases. Look out for electricity poles that we can do some additional lights and put those lights there to make sure the place is lighting up.
According to Pearl Adusu Satekla, the Public Relations Officer for the National Road Safety Authority, discussions have taken place during a stakeholder meeting. She revealed to Citi News that a new consultant engineer has been engaged to design a comprehensive national framework for managing streetlights across the country.
Driving in darkness is not that helpful when we talk about road safety promotion in the country. And so, as you rightly said, we have engaged our sister agencies, who are the Ghana Highway Authority, Energy Commission, and the rest. And what they told us, or what we gathered from them, is that there is a framework to change the whole street light framework system in the country. And so they have a consultant who is helping them to put up the new framework to suit modern trends. You know, such things, it's a process, it's not an event. And so they will do procurement and all those things. And so far, honestly, as we sat, we've given them some time to report back. They've not yet reported as to the level they've gone to. And so we are hoping that they will come up with the new development, how far they've gone to. But we are hoping that within in the medium term, we'll see a new lighting system in the country very soon.
You heard a report on streetlights filed by Daniel Udrumensa.
Child Rights International, a non-governmental organization, is calling on the government to adopt a multidisciplinary approach in its quest to deal with the menace of child beggars on the streets. The organization believes government ought to consider several factors, including control mechanisms, social welfare, and protecting the rights of children. The call comes on the back of the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection concerns over the resurgence of children begging for alms on the streets. In an interview with Citi News, the executive director of Child Rights International, Bright Appiah, added that there must be a policy to make begging on the streets uncomfortable.
There are other factors that are more dominant than even the resources that people give. So if we are able to do that, then I think that it will add to the call that the government has made in respect to people stop giving money to the beggars on the street. To us, and for the work that we've done, the major issue that we need to deal with has to do with by making the environment uncomfortable for people to think that they can be on the street to beg.
You are the executive director for Child Rights International, Bright Appiah.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live on 97.3 Citi FM. Still ahead, City Business Festival kicks off with the first forum on reimagining the digital economy. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ultimate Charismatic Center presents Prophetic Invasion. The Devil is a Liar with host Prophet Akwesi Ajimai Prempe. Date 13 June to 18 June 2023. Time morning 9 a.m. Wednesday to Sunday. Evening 6 p.m. Venue is Ohima Plaza, East Legon. For more information, call +233 0207 053 165. Website is prophetprempe.org. Ultimate Charismatic Center, Arena of Prophecy, Center of Manifestation.
With the complexities of issues happening around us on a daily basis, it's the hard-hitting conversations and probing questions of the point of view that teases apart the twisted entanglements of politics and governance, as well as religious and social discourse. The Point of View brings you the policymakers and duty bearers and drills down to the very bottom of issues. The Point of View airs every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. Now, as new technologies hit the market very quickly, panelists on the first forum of the 2023 City Business Festival are pushing for deliberate collaborative efforts between the private sector and the government to achieve a robust digital economy. The panelists posit that this will help create the right policies to enhance the efficiency and quality of selected digital public services and strengthen the digital innovation ecosystem in Ghana to help create better jobs and economic opportunities. Speaking as part of the first forum of the month-long City Business Festival on the theme, Reimagining the Digital Economy, the founder and the chief executive officer of ZPay, Andrew Techiapia, noted that the move would also improve the survival and growth rate of digital technology-enabled startups.
We have to be deliberate. I actually want to take a quick departure from everybody's platform.
Yeah.
Let's go into a free-form conversation, right? So, and that's why I didn't want to touch regulation initially, right? I think that, I agree with it, frankly. We need frameworks. We need social contracts. Social contract if it's AI. We need social contract if it's a certain type of behaviors that will drive a certain conversation. But the first thing we need is for the first time as a country to say it's not going to be partisan. It's not going to be alignment to a certain party or certain people or persons. And just put the right caliber of people on the table and let's say we're going to think through first, come up with discussion papers and open it up and get ecosystems involved. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the first layer. Otherwise, I can tell you we're building a digital economy framework. I can tell you that. I'm sure there's something going on, right? But I'm sure, even frankly, maybe he's not on it, maybe he's on it. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. We need to just dehumanize ourselves and not be emotional for the first time and say that for the sake of the vision that is 100 years ahead of us, we're going to call people who understand and are built.
That is the founder and CEO of ZPay, Andrew Techiapia. The Chief Executive Officer of Tech Gulf Ghana Limited, Franklin Osari, highlighted the need for the acquisition of digital skills to drive the creation of new business modules for breakthroughs.
Now, I'm known in this country for entrepreneurs. It's my greatest passion. At Oracle, we did something called the Ghana Oracle Digital Enterprise Program, where we raise startups. So I've been having this conversation for about 5 years. I believe that Africa's greatest talent for startups are right here in Ghana. And I believe that when it comes to independence, Ghana was the first country to become independent in Africa. In the digital area, the digital entrepreneurs coming out of Africa will be the first and the finest. They just need the skills to enable. We really have some good startups in this country. They just need support. If you want $50,000 to support your business, I mean, you have to give them everything, including your grandmother's name, if you still remember it, that kind of thing. The banks need to change. We need venture capital to be able to help us. We need mentoring. I found that most of the startups here, they just need a mentoring. Some people still be in bed at this time. You just need to call them to wake up to go and produce the goods and services. So there's a lot to discuss. But I think that one of the reasons why we wrote this book is that there are no parameters. There's no framework for you to go and say that this is where you are. So one of the things we're doing as an extension to this book is to be able to measure as an index the maturity of a digital economy.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of Tech Gulf Ghana Limited, Franklin Asari. This year's edition of the City Business Festival is powered by City TV and City FM in partnership with APSA and is proudly sponsored by MTN Momo, MTN Business, and ZPay with support from Gersel.
Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, has indicated that the government is pursuing diversification strategies to address the potential impact of its energy transition framework and the recent decline in oil production. According to the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, in Ghana, crude oil production dropped from 55.05 million barrels in 2021 to 51.7 million barrels in 2022. Recognizing the significance of this decline, Dr. Amin Adam expressed his concerns during the launch event of the 2020 Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative report. He emphasized that a marginal drop in oil production could have repercussions on the country's economic stability, thus the need to mitigate any potential shortfalls by implementing measures to counteract the effects.
For me, recent developments in terms of decline in oil production and coupled with the potential negative impact of energy transition, which is likely to lead to low investment in the sector, call for urgent action from all of us to reduce the impact of these industries on our economy. What it means is that we have to increasingly diversify our economy. And this is why we are looking at so many other areas, including the value chains, to see how we can link these resources that are impacted by the energy transition with the rest of the economy. Mr. Chairman, I'm very happy to have heard from co-chair that Haiti has done some work on the energy transition. That is very critical for us because the effect is real. It is coming, and it's coming very fast. Countries that pretend that they are out of this will soon realize that they will be left behind. And this is why the government started developing the energy transition framework. I do appreciate that the 2070 year target for net zero for Ghana is unambitious, to use the words of co-chair. And our attention has been drawn to this by several other stakeholders. But fact is that it's civil society organizations and the citizens of Ghana, some of whom have even asked that we forget about energy transition. And why should we develop an energy transition framework in the first place? Because we are least emitters. We don't emit so much.
You heard Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam.
Now, the spokesperson for the civil society organization in the extractive industry, Dr. Steve Mantiao, is demanding the immediate publication of the policy document regarding the gold for oil policy. While expressing his concern over the lack of transparency surrounding the policy, Dr. Mantiao emphasized the need for disclosure of the agreement's terms and conditions. He believes that providing comprehensive details about the policy is essential to dispelling suspicions, ensuring transparency, and earning public confidence. He made these remarks during the launch of the 2020 Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative report.
In Ghana to sell its gold, there is no transparency, no disclosure. And how is Ghana procuring its petroleum products? Again, we don't know. And at what cost? At what cost are those facilitating these transactions? okay, what do you call it, imposing on the total vote for oil program. All these things have to be disclosed for us to be able to hold our duty bearers to account. The recommendation is in the Gaiety report. We want government disclosures. First, we want to see a comprehensive vote for oil policy. For now, there is none. All that we've seen is headline pronouncements. Okay, people raise concerns, the government then put something in the public domain. Where is the blueprint? Where is the policy document? And I think Parliament should take an interest in that. They must see the policy document, interrogate it, and see how best it serves the national interest.
You heard the spokesperson for the civil society organization in the extractive industry, Dr. Steve Mantiel.
Now, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection is set to introduce a toll-free helpline for victims accused of witchcraft or their relatives to seek assistance in case of mob attacks. The ministry believes that this initiative will help reduce the incidence of lynching, particularly targeted at older women in rural communities. Now, let's hear from Dainangon, our correspondent in the northern region.
Ali Matu, an inmate of the Gambaga witches camp, sought refuge in this camp after her daughter accused her of witchcraft, putting her life in danger.
My last one, she bring me here, and she said that I cut her. I said that, Ibrahim, I look when your father died, and you are P6, and look at everything, and you go to secondary school. I'm Chaco and everything, and send and giving your things, and you will finish there. When the book, everything, I want to cut you to do what? And you said that, but I go to the bush and came out and come and sit down, and Amiru come and said that go him, and I hear that my children said that I cut her.
Ali Matu is among the more than 90 women seeking shelter at 6 designated homes known as witches camps in northern Ghana. These women, mostly in their menopausal stages, face accusations of witchcraft based on the pronouncements of soothsayers and some prophets. This exposes them to public ridicule and inhumane treatment. Although there is no specific data on the number of women lynched due to witchcraft accusations, at least 4 cases of lynching have been reported between 2020 and 2023. Among them was the murder of 90-year-old Ekwia Dente a few years ago in Kafaba, which sparked nationwide outrage. On May 7, a man and a woman were lynched in Zakpalsi, a community in the Myon district of the northern region, on suspicions of practicing witchcraft following the death of a woman. The perpetrators of these crimes are still at large. In response, the Ministry of Gender and Children Protection conducted a working visit to the northeast and northern regions, where the minister condemned the incident and assured the public that the police would apprehend the culprits.
We promise that the law will take its own course, whether the case has been reported or not. That's why the police command is here. So definitely, there will definitely be some arrests so that we will prosecute those who actually caused this heinous crime.
Currently, an anti-witchcraft bill is under consideration in the Parliament of Ghana, aiming to criminalize witchcraft accusations and related offences once it becomes law. The Ministry of Gender plans to establish a toll-free helpline for individuals to report any threats to their lives stemming from witchcraft accusations.
Very soon, the law will pass, and then I have instituted a department that we call Restoration Department, just for this alleged witchcrafting, where there's a toll-free number, 800-800, 0900-900. So these are the numbers. Immediately it starts, you can call those numbers, and we can call police to come and intervene, and then they try to save your life, so that we will refer the case to the appropriate quarters. I think very soon the lines will be very active, and then we will train some policemen in most of the community where actually these things are happening, so that they will be the point of call, the security.
However, the women residing in these camps assert that they feel safer there than in the communities that ostracized them in the first place.
But when I didn't see my house, I won't go home. But when I go home just now, I'll go and enter some place. They will say that I'll come to cut their children. But when I see my house, I will go home. But when I didn't see my house, I won't go home.
You send the person home and she has no place to sleep. You see, sometimes the children might even accept, but they will tell you that we don't have a place for the woman unless you come to help them build. Sometimes they will tell you that, yes, our mother had been in Gambaga for, let's say, 50 years. She has no room again. We want to accept our mother, but we don't have the means.
In the Western world, the elderly are provided with shelters equipped with basic amenities. Shouldn't Ghana consider transforming these camps into shelters for the elderly?
The ministry is actually looking at it. In Gambaga, there's a place we are looking to develop as an age home. So it will be done. And then we would like to do it across all the regions. So where there's a point that somebody don't have anybody to take care of him or her, so you can seek shelter there. So
social protection is a fundamental right, especially for older people who have contributed to the nation's development. Unfortunately, this group seems to be excluded. Although the Sustainable Development Goals aim to address multidimensional inequalities, older people are not explicitly targeted. Nevertheless, this issue cuts across multiple SDGs, necessitating the government's design and implementation of specific social protection programs for the elderly in society to achieve the 2030 agenda.
So long as the belief of witchcraft exists, women, especially older women in rural communities, will continue to face maltreatment from community members in their old age. There's the need for government and relevant stakeholders to take in measures to ensure that these women are protected. From the Northern region, Dinah Ungwan for Citi News.
In some other news, the Pensioner Bondholders Forum has denied claims by the Finance Ministry that a conclusion was reached between the pensioner bondholders and government over government's proposal to buy back all principal amounts from June 2023 to December 2023 at market price. This comes on the back of a statement released by the ministry claiming that a meeting between the pensioner bondholders and the Finance Ministry resolved that government buys back the principals at market value. But according to a statement from the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, no conclusion was reached with government, and any offer to buy back the principals must be done at principal plus accrued interest.
The National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kutia, has revealed that currently Ghana has no land dispute with any of its neighbors. According to him, the Commission has successfully settled all its land disputes with its neighboring countries through peaceful means using international conventions and national legislature. Speaking during the minister's press briefing on African Border Day, Major General Kutia indicated that Ghana and Togo were only reaffirming their international border lines to indicate a clear demarcation of the land borders of both countries.
Let me mention that so far as land boundaries are concerned, there is no dispute so far as our land demarcations are concerned. So what the Ghana Boundary Commission clearly is doing and is continuing to do now is reaffirmation. These land demarcations, we are not doing new demarcations because there is no dispute so far our land demarcations are concerned. We also to encourage negotiated settlement of border disputes in preference to litigation. In collaboration with relevant security agencies, we ensure the security of the boundaries of Ghana to safeguard the territorial integrity of Ghana at all times. Through negotiation, determine cross-border matters among communities, promote trans-border cooperation and local community development, advise government on international conventions in relation to the boundaries of Ghana and the signing and ratification of treaties related to land and maritime boundaries, address issues related to the use of natural resources that straddle land and maritime boundaries.
That was the National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia. This is still the Citi Prime News. Let's do some more stories now. President Akufo-Addo says development works within the Kumawu constituency will continue although the by-election is over. The government was criticized for initiating development projects in the area following the by-elections. Speaking at a meeting with the Kumaumahene and the MP for the area, Ernest Anim, at the Jubilee House, Nana Akufo-Addo says the construction of roads in the area will continue.
The people who have come to do the work, they will stay and finish the work before they move. There will not be a question that it was just an election gimmick. That would not be my taste and would not be correct at all. So then you can be rest assured. So as I say, thank you very much for coming. Ms. Zenin, you have a big responsibility. Kumawu is a very important constituency, one of the leading constituencies in Ashanti. So now you are their mouthpiece, their representative. You will have to deliver.
President Akufo-Addo there.
Now, the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association has announced plans to stage a nationwide protest on June 30, 2023, if the government fails to fulfill its commitment to pay outstanding allowances owed them. This decision comes after the association initially suspended its intended demonstration regarding its conditions of service. Speaking to Citi News, the national president of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Jasper Joka, expressed the group's determination not to back down until their issues are addressed.
It's so important. And so we have gone ahead to seek police protection to embark on a demonstration because we have already made our intention clear and known. This demonstration could have happened somewhere on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of April. But then we put the demonstration down because the Honorable Minister has put it on the floor of Parliament on 31st of March. And so because of that, we put down the demonstration. Let alone for us to realize that in the month of June, our story will not change. As we speak, our names are not even taken. So the work we are doing, we don't really know who we are working for because you are working for closely a year and not even your name is taken. What is the assurance of you being paid very soon? Our members are frustrated. That means, and all these are happening because of the excess delay. This has never happened before. Our seniors, their plan has been delayed for 7 months or 8 months. But we are now in our 12th month, ending the rotation without even our name being taken. The number of calls I received per day is quite alarming. So on the 30th of June, I don't think nothing will stop us. If our money does not hit our account, nothing, no retreat, no surrender. We are hitting the street of Accra and we are demonstrating massively. Over 14,000 rotation nurses across the country, they are willing to descend to Accra.
That was the national president of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Jasper Joka.
And that's it for today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which was live across our partner stations in the Upper West. We were on Tumpani Radio 88.5 in Nadoli, Jurapa 96.1 FM in Jurapa. In the Upper East region, Rekas 92.1 FM in Bongo Namo. In the Northern region, North Star Radio 92.1 in Tamale in Northeast, Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalarugu. In the Western region, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Ashanti region, Focus 94.3 FM on the KNUST campus. Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we were on Stella Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala. Holy 98.5 FM in Aplao. And in the Savannah region, Kasha 99.5 FM in Damongo. My name is Inusafo and I was here with
Charles Osukumi.
For more news, do log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. Up next is the afternoon's edition of the City Business News with Neteli Nete. Many thanks for tuning in.